So when I was contemplating this training session, I knew I wanted to do some squats and some pulls, and that was like the solidifying fact that I for sure wanted to do today. I think I'm going to do back squats first because when I did that first last week is when I hit that 220 double, and I think it'd be really fun to be able to do a little bit more than that, whether it's 225 or 230, not for a double, just for a single, because I don't think I'm quite there yet, but who knows. So I'll probably take some pretty aggressive jumps to get up to, let's say 70, 120, 170, and then probably right to 200, and then probably 215, so I can jump to 225 or 230, depending on how that feels. And if 215 feels heavy, then I'll just stop there. And potentially volume with squats, but I'm kind of feeling like just doing some heavyish singles on those, and then some pulling of some sort, or while I have the bar in the rack still, doing some snatch balances or snatch push presses. A lot of that will depend on how my wrist is feeling. Right now I don't have any issues, and that's kind of the annoying thing. It's like throughout the day, it's not like, oh, every time I move my arm or whatever, it's like it's soreness in the wrist. It's just once I'm like in a front rack for something, or once I have some like 70 kilos on the bar in like a clean, that's where I'll start to feel it, because that's where the stretch becomes the greatest. So at a minimum, I suppose I want to hit a good back squat, and at a maximum we do lots of other workout, or lots of other exercises with it, but a lot of, I guess, secondary and auxiliary movements. So at an ideal session, I think, would be good back squat, good snatch pull of some sort, and ideally snatch balances, but if that doesn't feel good, snatch push presses. And if those don't feel good, then just snatch presses, and maybe SOTS presses, but probably just snatch presses, just to make life a little bit easier on that. And I don't know if I'll do any snatching or clean and jerk specific work, so today will just be, I guess, kind of a strength and positional improvement day. But it's like 70 degrees out, feels really nice out here. I still got the sweatshirt on just to have something on as I warm up, but I am excited to squat today, which is definitely a good feeling. And when I was thinking about, it's like maybe I could do some snatching or clean and jerks before I do squats. I was like, I don't really want to do anything. I just kind of want to do some heavy squats, which is a good feeling to have and to have that confidence. But I would say the minimum number that I would like to hit is the 215, since that will probably be my last jump, and then the maximum being 230. So ideally, I would hit something between 225 and 230, and kind of stay there, because I don't have my belt out here, and I'll have the heavy knee wraps, but not like my knee sleeves, which would be my most comfortable thing to do squats in. And I think there's a pretty good chance of me squatting pretty well, assuming everything feels good as I warm up. So without any more procrastination, we're gonna get to it, and hopefully I have a good squat to show for this workout, and other good exercises, but one thing at a time. But I'll talk to you at the end of the workout. as you can imagine, I am ecstatic about that snatch balance, another 5 kilograms on my lifetime best, and even better, not the rain outside, that's not better, but it just started to rain a little bit harder outside. The best part is I didn't have any misses going up to that weight. I wasn't able to do 230 in the back squat. The 220 I was pretty happy with, but kind of once I did the rep at 220, I was like, there's not much more there, but I wanted to still have it's raining pretty hard, so I guess I'm going to be out here a little bit longer. I wanted to have that confidence of like, I'm going to at least like, get ready to do it. And I essentially just sat down with it and knew that there wasn't going to be any movement on the way up, which is fine. Honestly, the fact that I even like had enough confidence to load it on the bar and to, move with it at all, because I haven't attempted 230 in quite a long time, actually. I think that might be like before my hip. So I don't know what the most I've done since that time. I feel like I might have done like 225 once at some point, because it's been such a long time since I've had that hip issue, essentially like last summer. So, doing anything, 220, if I just did 220 every time I back squatted, like obviously that's just really good. It's just a really good percentage, and, relative to my lifts for the most part. But I was happy to do the 220 without a belt again. So I know that there's probably at least 5 kilograms more when I throw the belt on, the sleeves, and, getting that. I would say I was in a good zone today, but like getting a more peaked state. I definitely probably have more than 230, and honestly probably close to being able to do a PR if I was in like the perfect situation as far as belted, recovered, sleeves, everything. But that's just not the nature of training. And if 220 can just be a consistent number, then obviously that's an indicator that legs are getting stronger in general. But I also, besides the squats, the snatch balance, of course, like I was just surprised that any of it moved. I was actually using the hook grip, I guess you could probably tell, the hook grip wraps instead of the Onyx ones. Because my Onyx one, the one on my right hand, has a little bit of a tear. And let me bring it up to the camera so you can actually see if that's actually visible on there. Probably not with the light. Or you can kind of see right where my finger is, like that shouldn't be there. I know it's kind of dark. But because of that, I can't crank it as tight as the left side. Because I noticed when I put the left side, it's not all the way to the end of the Velcro on the left hand. And on the right, I have to go all the way, and it still doesn't feel like it's as tight as it otherwise would have been, at least when I first got them. So I'll probably move away from those and go back to the classic wraps that I used for quite a while, probably most of my weightlifting time, because I had hook grip ones, but the little string here broke, and then I got some more elastic ones, and the elastic ones works fine. But what's nice with that material is there is no give with it, so if you can really vary the tightness with it pretty effectively. And the nice thing, they're also not very expensive, so if it does kind of rip and stuff, you're not like, oh my gosh, I have to pay whatever the Onyx leather ones are. So I'm kind of disappointed, because I figured the leather ones would be something that would last a really long time, but they're just not that durable, I suppose, at least on the side that I was cranking tighter than on the other side, which trying to put my foot on this, which kind of stinks, but you kind of live and learn. And I just know I won't be getting more, like I won't be doubling down and buying another one, just because why would I waste another? I want to say it was like $50. It might have it was a good amount, and I was splurging because I have adult money, so I can buy dumb things like the like leather wrist wraps that I don't really need. But sometimes the cheaper equipment just does a better job, and you kind of have to stick with what works. And I'll definitely be sticking with those because it was actually like too tight at one point, because I was like, I'm just going to put it as tight as I can when I was warming up for the snatch balances. And I literally can't close my hand. It was like I was a powerlifter, like you want to, for that bench or whatever, you want that wrist crap or your wrist wrap to be, I say wrist crap. You want your wrist wrap to be super tight to provide as much support as possible, since you don't want any flexion in your wrist. At least I think in a bench press, I think you don't want it. I don't know. I don't bench press enough to actually know the technical thing, but essentially, you can crank them super tight to provide a lot of support. And with those, I actually got it too tight, which is nice, because then you can put it less tight or adjust where it is a little bit better than the leather one. So definitely we'll be going back to those. Besides that, what did I say, the snatch? So I wore those for the snatch balance, and I was able to get enough wrist support with those. Of course, as you see, I was able to do a PR I was really happy. Honestly, I was going to be happy that I did the 125, and I almost just stopped there. But then I was like, I felt pretty easy. I definitely think, especially because I went from 100 to 125, I was like, it didn't feel like I took a 25 kilogram jump to get there. So I went up to 135. When I did that, I was like, I really have to go up. Like it was, it was a weight that I was like, I would have been like, if I stopped at 135, I'd have been really happy and would have been really confident the next time I did them that I could, push that same weight or more. But when I did it, I was like, I can't really leave here and not at least see what 145 feels like. And when I started to move with 145, I was just shocked that it just didn't immediately, shoot forward. My body didn't immediately reject the weight, and I was able to do the whole lift. And for the most part, stabilized above my head. I wasn't like flopping around and flying around in here, which is good. Obviously, it felt really heavy, but I mean that's the most. Obviously in the snatch balance, but a lot more than I've overhead squatted. I think the most I've overhead squatted is 135, and that was after doing a high block snatch with that weight. So like I'm definitely like exceeding old numbers by quite a lot now, which is really exciting for that. That's a huge indicator of just general overhead stability and strength, which is really great. Hopefully it indicates better snatching in the future as well. But I also did after those, as you saw, the behind the neck jerks. I only did them to 140, and I actually felt the bar brush my hair on the back of my head. So I definitely got to practice the movement more. I haven't done them in a while, which is a big reason why I wasn't going to try. Regardless, I wasn't going to try anything above 140. But especially when I felt my hair, I was like, I'm just going to smack the back of my head and knock myself out. That would not be ideal. Which I've never had that. I've never had a bar feel like it's close to the back of my head when I'm doing anything behind the head. So it's definitely a weird feeling, but it's something. It sounds like my roommates are trying to set the house on fire, which is unfortunate. But it is raining, so I guess if any day for it to be a house fire, it would be a rainy day would be better. But I think they're probably just smoking the house out with whatever they're cooking. But I'm quite excited about that and glad that I had enough, wrist. Really didn't have a ton of wrist pain. Once I got the wrist straps on right, they felt fine, and I was able to get up to the like you saw the 140 with behind the neck jerk, and obviously I want to get to doing a lot more with that. I've actually had the same PR from the front and the back in the jerk, so in the regular jerk and the behind the neck jerk, it's both 165. And obviously, if I want to be able to clean jerk 170, I need to do in excess of 165 from the front and from the back to obviously help build that strength. But I think a day like today is a really good one. I'm not going to do pulls. That's the only thing I'm not going to do. But I'm going to push those off till tomorrow because I'll probably actually do squats again and do the triples like I had been doing, like the fast triples, and then add some pulls in and kind of just throw it at the end of the session after doing whatever snatch and clean jerk work I end up doing. But really excited about that. Like I'm ecstatic that I had such a positive session in every realm. The last thing I'm going to do, and probably just hang out here for a little bit because it is raining, and it's not raining too hard, so I could just walk in. But I'm going to do some band work and probably just go in and stretch a bit, but I probably should go in and eat because I certainly think that's been helping as well, just getting enough nutrition. So just going to continue this good momentum, but man, I was not expecting to hit a snatch balance PR, that is for sure. Especially after doing that squat, I was like, oh, I feel pretty decent, but like I wasn't like, everything's feeling great, I'm ready to pop off. And it's just, sometimes those days happen, like, you don't hit a PR in one lift, which, I'm not always going to be able to do, especially after you get to a certain level and point of training. But you can always find a movement that you can push pretty hard pretty much every day. But it's nice when it's an important movement, and I kind of view the snatch balance as one that's pretty important for my overhead stability and strength and developing that. But that being said, I'm going to do a couple, do some band work for my shoulders, some external rotators, get some of that work in, and really get out of here. But man, crazy good day. Training's just continued to go fantastic. So I just want to continue this momentum, try to, continue to build everything up and just hopefully, continue this, what seems to be a positive trajectory. And maybe I'm delusional, but I'd rather be delusional than not lifting well, I suppose. But I don't even know what I'm saying at this point. Anywho, I'll talk to you all in the next video. Have a great day. Peace.